We had a stellar heel promo, we had a stellar babyface promo, and we had a really hot first time on WWE TV Dublin, Ireland crowd. These are my assorted thoughts on the August 22nd, 2025 WWE SmackDown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. I am Jason C. McLean, but as somebody said the other day, I kind of look like Jack Black, present day Jack Black. Salt and pepper beard. I might be trimming my beard soon, so that might not be an issue. Anyways, it's not an issue. It's around 3:45 in the afternoon on Sunday, August 24th. Now, 2 days ago, around the same time, SmackDown was live, for me at least, on Netflix in Canada from Dublin, Ireland. And yeah, the crowd was really hot. And let's talk about these two great promos. Let's start with the first one. When Becky Lynch's music hit, I was like, okay, great. She's from Dublin. The crowd's really into it. Is it possible she's going to turn heel? No, maybe this is just a little babyface blip. But nope. As the consummate professional that the man is, Becky Lynch, after a few lines of getting cheers, like a total pro, turned that crowd against her, got major heat simply by saying they don't deserve to be on TV. She tried to get it canceled. She had some great lines like, "You shouldn't be booing me. I'm your hero. I shouldn't have to tell you because that's not how heroing works." I thought that was great. James Joyce caught strays because he was never on the New York Times bestseller list like she was. Bono, wrestlers, only wrestlers should be able to wear sunglasses indoors, I guess, because she realized either like Seth or some people. Also, like I was in Sports Illustrated says it, an American publication, and I've got a really hot American husband. Like the two things that normally get boos, she added the American part to it. Just wonderful, wonderful work. The crowd was even chanting, "We want Lyra." And yeah, it would have been great if Lyra came out, but that wasn't, that wouldn't have made sense storyline wise because Lyra's barred from ever going after the Women's Intercontinental Championship when Becky still has it, essentially putting an end to their feud. Also, Lyra's another Raw superstar, and you had to get SmackDown people out. Now, maybe Lyra came out in a post-show thing, like a dark match, and fought Becky or something, not for the title. That would have been for the local crowd. Or maybe Becky stood up and said, when the cameras were off, she's like, took a little bow, like, thank you for playing along. Because this crowd definitely got its assignment and executed it with perfection. They booed Becky. Was all the chants, it was such a great back and forth heel promo with the crowd. I was in stitches the whole time. I thought this was amazing. Even Becky, you could see at one point she puts her hand down. I think she was trying to stop herself from laughing, and she didn't laugh because she's a pro, but you could tell that she was loving doing it too. And I'm sure this crowd loved booing her too. It was great. As far as who did come out, yeah, it made sense. Tiffany Stratton. I'm glad Tiffany didn't spend too long on the mic going back and forth with Becky because Nia Jax came out, but because Tiffany had trouble holding her own with Charlotte Flair and had to go off script to get something in, she wouldn't stand a chance in a promo battle with this version of Becky Lynch. Becky would destroy her, and I think they wanted to keep Tiffany strong. And this is the way they got the crowd. They got the crowd cheering Tiffany Stratton over Becky Lynch in her hometown of Dublin, Ireland. Like that just shows especially that's a credit to Becky that she's able to fully embrace this heel persona and even make the crowd go along with it when it's a crowd that's definitely wants to cheer her. When they announced the main event, it was I posted this on social media. We had Nick Aldis making an impromptu main event out of the people that happened to be in the ring. And right after he did, we get Joe Tessitore saying, "Who could have seen that one coming?" Me, Joe. I could have seen that one coming. So could anyone who's been watching this show or Raw for the past few weeks. It was obvious that's where you were going. Now, who at the beginning of the night, who would have seen a match involving Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton? No, people couldn't see that one coming. But once it was apparent who were in the ring, I was just like, okay, when's Nick Aldis going to come out and make this tag match for the end of the night? And he did. The actual tag match, it was a decent match. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. We had Jade pinning Nia, so I think that just puts Jade back in contention for Tiffany's title. I think we're going with that. That made sense. It made sense Becky Lynch didn't take the pin. Also, the fact that she was at ringside, she probably did something with the crowd after SmackDown went off the air. I mean, it was a decent, fine main event, but, regardless of what that was, that could have been completely horrible, and it would have been worth it because we got that great promo at the beginning. Speaking of the other great promo, this one I kind of saw coming. John Cena comes out, celebrating with Dublin, Ireland one final time. And I was like, wait a second, but this is their first TV show in Dublin. And then, yeah, as he mentioned later in the promo, he was part of the dark matches in Dublin. So yes, it was an accurate line to say. But when Logan Paul came out, didn't even let Cena get a word in, I was like, oh, great. They're not getting a good promo like we did in Montreal. But no, when I saw Logan just lacing into him, I was like, okay, Cena's going to come back. This is going to be a promo battle. Cena's going to take him to school, and Cena did. This was excellent. He buttered him up at first by talking about his accomplishments, but then said he acknowledged the fact, I guess the line they're pushing on him is Logan Paul's an outsider, but of course the crowd said wanker, so he just went with that. But then he ended up saying he's a parasite. And I think I'm pretty sure Cena's able to say things and do things in promos that other stars aren't. For example, he actually invoked Logan Paul's legal troubles. Okay, he didn't exactly say, the CS words, crypto scammer, which he's been accused of. But he did mention legal troubles. Obviously, I think Logan Paul knew that was coming because he set him up for it with the whole thing of living arrangement and stuff. But mainly he knocked over the Prime station, using us as a branding exercise so you could buy yourself another Pokemon card, and kicked over the Prime station. Prime is still sponsoring. Logan Paul is still on WWE's podcast network, but Cena's able to do that, and it was great. It was almost cathartic for all the people like see Logan Paul with these promos. Cena was able to go there. And just, when he mentioned all the people that, people are thinking they'd like to see Cena face, like Dom Mysterio, AJ Styles, both Usos, Jacob Fatu, and he was wasting his time with Logan Paul. Now, that's true. Maybe he was just shouting out those people because he's not going to get to face them. Or maybe it was a little litmus test to see who got the most cheers, to see who maybe he should include in his final matches after Logan Paul and Brock Lesnar. Now, we went from this. Cena gives him the AA. Good, excellent end to an excellent promo segment. Backstage, we get Drew McIntyre telling Logan, by any means necessary. And after the show, they had the final credit, the executive producer credit. You see Nick Aldis running after Cena. Oh, I just heard from Brock Lesnar. Then Logan Paul comes in and punches him. Now, when I was watching live, I saw the original version where the punch didn't look that great, but they actually edited it for the USA Network version and the subsequent Netflix version. They also changed, yes, the bleeping. Logan Paul acknowledged the bleeping during that whole segment, but they also changed the time where Cena's saying whether I got 100 moves, 5 moves, or 1 move, gives him the middle finger clearly on camera. They cut the camera. They changed the camera angle for the on-demand version on Netflix. So they even censored the middle finger on Netflix, but it was nice seeing it live. Honestly, I love seeing things in the middle of the afternoon sometimes. And if you're in the States and you're wondering, how do you see it live? Well, you could get a VPN. And if you're a VPN company, maybe give me some sponsorship money and I'll promote your VPN company. It's a great time for all wrestling content creators, podcasts, whatever, should be, who have a large American audience, should be advertising VPNs, because I'm going to do a whole video probably about this, talking about the affordability of WWE. In the States, you got to watch you got to get an ESPN subscription, like a cable subscription for SmackDown. You got to get Netflix, and you got to have regular rabbit ears to watch NXT. In Canada and most places in the world, you need one Netflix subscription and an internet connection to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, PLEs, a decent catalog, the whole deal. Anyways, that's a subject for another video. But I did mention Drew McIntyre, and Drew is definitely over in Dublin, in Europe in general. And I guess we're not getting Drew versus Cody. I think they're saving that for the WrestlePalooza, the one on ESPN on the 20th, where they're also doing Cena Brock probably. But the crowd was definitely into it, but I think Randy might be his replacement. So maybe he actually will win a match on the Clash show. He's fought in major matches on 2 different Clash shows and lost both of them. This Clash, maybe he'll actually win if he fights Randy, but the crowd was really into him, cheering for Drew as he was cutting his promo. But then after he said Cody has no friends, Cody's friend, Randy Orton, comes up. The crowd went even more ballistic seeing Randy Orton. Of course, Randy's over everywhere. And I think they're trying to lead to the Randy heel turn fighting Cody, but that might not be a lot. They're stretching it because that might be a little bit easier said than done. But still, that was a nice little touch to get Randy Orton on the show. And of course, we're continuing the feud with the Chelsea Green and their Secret Service versus the women's tag champs, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. But the real takeaway is Piper Niven now has a singles pinfall victory over Charlotte Flair. I don't think anyone saw that one coming yet. It was because of cheating. And I think next week they should give Alba Fire a pinfall victory over Alexa Bliss, even with some cheating, just to guarantee that they've each pinned the 2 tag champs, so it gives them a tag title match, gets the feud. Somehow maybe this might lead to a singles opponent for Chelsea. I like what they're doing with this. I love the fact that Piper actually has this on her record now, this victory. And I think, although I love the characters of the Secret Service, I don't think they've been shown as strong as they could be. And I think this is a good advancement. I really like how they're finally getting the Hervis over as a serious threat, and they're finally getting heat on Chelsea Green as a major heel. I think the problem before was people just wanted to see her on screen, and she was always there against much less popular baby faces, especially when she was the first the champion. So people were cheering for her. Now they have her going against major baby faces, and if they get some victories and she becomes like a chicken shit heel, I think she's finally, coming into her place on the roster, and I love to see it. And I definitely, this build started at the show I was at in Montreal, and I love that they're continuing it. And maybe they'll get Chelsea involved in singles matches too. We'll see. It's good where they're going, and I like what they're doing with the women's tag team championships. Speaking of the men's tag team championships, in particular, the WWE tag championships, we had 2 matches to qualify for a number 1 contenders match. It took me a while to realize that's what they were doing because they were focused on the stories. But let's see, we had the Street Profits defeating the MFTs. I should have known that's what they were doing when I found out it was JC Mateo and Tanga Loa, because you're not going to put a tag title on Tanga Loa. I'm sorry. If it was Talatanga, maybe. But of course, this match, the main focus is the next feud for the MFTs and Solo in particular, because Solo and Talatanga got involved, and Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn got involved. Good to see them out there. Also fun, Sami congratulating his friend like it was the first time he had talked to him, giving him Jimmy the big hug for the baby on the way announcement from Naomi. That was good. That was fine. It's good to see that happening. But of course, next we're going with 3 matches. Maybe they're going to get a 4th person in there. And we got the U.S. title match set for next week on SmackDown. If it was at Clash in Paris, I would be pretty sure Sami Zayn was going to win. He might win it on SmackDown. We'll see where that goes. But then in the other match, we had Mello Don't Miz defeating the Motor City Machine Guns. That's the Miz and Carmelo Hayes. Now, everyone's been thinking about when are they going to look. They're hinting at it. People want to see Carmelo leave the Miz and maybe have a feud with him. I think they're going there, but I think there's going to be a tag title run in between. I'm pretty sure they're going to beat the Street Profits next week, and then they're going to win. And this whole Miz jumping in and whatever, it seems like there's a lack of cohesion. You saw Carmelo smile because the lack of cohesion that they're projecting is helping them win. So I think in character, Carmelo is going along with it just to make the opponents underestimate their chances of winning. And I think we are going to get the split up and the breakaway, but it's going to mean more because it's going to be after a tag title run. That's my prediction. Now, when I saw R-Truth appear on the screen saying he had gone to the wrong Dublin, he went to Dublin, Georgia instead of Dublin, Ireland, and typical R-Truth stuff, I was like, oh God, they're not going to give him the play. But I was like, wait a second, you know what? If he introduces his special little friend and it's Ron Killings, as in the whole Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, where I think Dude Love and Cactus Jack, Dude Love and Mankind introduced Cactus Jack one time. If they do the whole split personality, different people, that would be great. But I want to see Ron Killings get some hard matches. I love the idea of him playing both R-Truth and Ron Killings. But if it's R-Truth in the promos, but then Ron Killings comes to the ring, that would be great. But you know what? We got Damian Priest. Wasn't really a match. It was just a brawl. I'm sure they're going to go for some like no DQ match of the PLE probably for these, maybe even Clash in Paris. Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. That's a good feud, but just I want to see R-Truth or Ron Killings used better. And these were my assorted thoughts on the August 22nd, 2025 WWE SmackDown, live, at least for me and a lot of people, from Dublin, Ireland. Okay, this was a show with some decent matches, not the greatest matches in the world, admittedly, but some amazing, two landmark promos and memorable promos at an incredibly hot crowd. Can't really complain. I'm looking forward to the rest of these European shows. Do you agree with me? Do you have your own opinion? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Also, jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Bluesky. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, WWE premium live event prediction and review videos, wrestling opinion pieces, and assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. Now, I'm going to be back with the regular content, prediction video for Clash in Paris, assorted thoughts on Raw, all that stuff, maybe even a couple of opinion pieces, but also there are three different videos. I recorded a review of Evolution, which I thought was my WWE Premium Live event of best one of 2025 so far at the time, and one for each night of SummerSlam. Now, I recorded the Evolution one a while ago, like a month or so ago, and the SummerSlam one's just after SummerSlam. I haven't had the time to edit it, so I'm going to try take advantage of some of the time to actually get at least the Evolution one out this week as a late thing, and eventually the SummerSlam one. So I should probably get an editor, but to hire an editor, I need to launch a Patreon or something. So I might be doing that soon too. But regardless, there's more coming out. Until next time, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.